At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes. At the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or dsw.com today and let us surprise you.
Well, my little Nellie is riding the show horse at the fair. There's always been that, Mom.
What fresh hell?
Laughing in the face of motherhood.
There's got to be a reason that it's good to compare and learn from one another until we slide off the internet cliff of compare and despair.
With Margaret Abels
And Amy Wilson.
We love our children and we spend a lot of time and effort caring for them. But then we have to wait about 25 years to see how they turn out.
A podcast that solves today's parenting dilemmas
So you don't have to.
Say that out loud for your kid and then say that inside your head for yourself. Hey everybody, welcome to What Fresh Hell, Laughing in the Face of Motherhood. This is Amy.
And this is Margaret. And today we are talking about comparing ourselves to other mothers. Should we do it? Will it lead to compare and despair, Amy? Or will it make us the mothers we always dreamed we could be?
Like, can you compare without despairing? I would like to think that this is something we're supposed to be doing. Like, if I'm a cave woman, I'm supposed to look over at you and be like, whoa, her fire, she has the dry wood and her fire is bigger than mine. Maybe I should be using dry wood. There's got to be a reason that it's good to compare and learn from one another until we slide off the internet cliff of compare and despair.
Right. Until Facebook gets invented, basically.
Right. Until Facebook, it was totally fine.
Totally fine. But before we get into all of that, Amy, we are going to start with mailbag.
Oh, yes. Wait a minute. Time for mailbag. Wait. Check the mailbag.
And in fact, our mailbag today is from our Apple Podcasts review pile, and I will read it to you. It says, keeping it real. And then it has the red 100 with the 2 underlines under it, which it's after my time. It's keeping it 100. It means like super real, right?
Mm-hmm. Which I
never really understood this expression or emoji, the 100, but I believe it's keeping it real.
The kids say it's keeping it real. Yes.
I consistently listen to this show. The hosts, Amy and Margaret, have super relevant topics that help me mother my very different from each other kids. The suggestions and topics are real and things that are actually helpful for the busy, juggling mom, and they are funny.
Wow. Mission accomplished. Like useful and funny. That's what we go for on this show.
Mission accomplished. That's what we go for, people, 100%. And I realized when pulling this review that we are at 909 reviews of the podcasts. Hellions, friends, new listeners, take us to 1,000. Won't you go rate and review our podcast wherever you're listening today and help us get to the magical 1,000 reviews, at which point I assume confetti cannons go off. People come with giant checks to our door. I don't know what happens when we get 1,000 degrees.
We float away. We float away on a cloud of affirmation.
I hope. Well, but we come back. I mean,
and then come back to record more episodes. That's right.
Yeah.
No, like 1,000 reviews on Apple Podcasts is like the lady says, a very important arbiter of a real big podcast. And so that would really help us if we could get us to 1,000.
If the lady says so, Amy.
We compare and despair. Listen, there are other podcasts out there that have 1,000 reviews. We don't. We are comparing and despairing.
We are comparing, and it is leading to despair. Amy, is competition natural for humans?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like comparison, like your fire is better than mine because you're building a better fire than me and I should learn from you. That's fine. But must comparison lead to competition?
Yes, it must. But that's not necessarily a terrible thing. I mean, so I went and found this little line from the Atlantic. In a survey of faculty, students, and staff at the Harvard School of Public Health. So you have to assume these people are fairly, I don't know what they do at the Harvard School of Public Health, but they must be somewhat, I don't know, well-balanced folks. Nearly half of the respondents said they'd prefer to live in a world where the average salary was $25,000 and they earned $50,000 than one where they earned $100,000, but the average salary was $200,000.
My own research bore out this same thing, that in order to make enough money to be happy, the true arbiter is not how much money you make, but that you're making more than your neighbors. That's what makes you happy financially.
Yeah, I think that it's very clear from everything I read looking into this that competition is built into the human species. And the old joke, which they cite in this article as well, is, you don't have to run faster than the bear. You just have to run faster than the other guy running from the bear, that.
Right. It is biologically imperative. Yes.
That there is a biological imperative. And that in fact, a lot of in nature, the funny birds, the peacock, basically, that puts their feathers out and trying to attract a mate, and that it's the strongest and brightest of birds that is most attractive to the other bird mates, that this all kind of plays out logically.
And it's about, there's this old saying about keeping up with the Joneses, which I looked into that. That came from actually a cartoon that was called Keeping Up with the Joneses. That was in newspapers 100 years ago. And the entire conceit of the cartoon was lady with rolling pin saying why don't you work harder so that we have nice things like the Joneses next door? That was the cartoon day after day. So that's the saying. And it used to be, right, literally like your neighbors. I can see looking over your fence, the jingle all the way problem, right? He's got more lights on his house than me. So now I have to have more lights on my house at Christmas time because it's a competition with my neighbor. But now these days, the Joneses aren't literally the people next door to you who have a pool and you don't. Now it's the influencers on the internet that have 6 kids. Everyone is a Joneses.
Everyone is the Joneses is sort of the problem. That's right. And I think that we've talked on the podcast about parenting in public, being a different kind of parent when you're out at the pool than you might be behind closed doors. And I think that's part of this. And yes, I think that in talking to my own mother, the idea that a lot of her problem as a parent was feeling lonely, isolated, home alone, not having people around. And certainly there have always been the moms. It's the Olsons on Little House on the Prairie, right? Their daughter has the brightest bow at the little church and she has the fanciest dress. It's not that there was not mother competition before today. There has always been people who are well, my little Nellie is riding the show horse at the fair. There's always been that mom.
I love your Harriet Olsen impression. It's very good.
Thank you. Thank you. But I think that the age of social media and the sort of overall feeling of motherhood as a competitive sport is something that has come into culture more and more and is getting more and more enhanced by the social media and the Instagramming of I woke up this morning at 4 to make fresh jam for my toddler.
Right. It comes at your eyeballs every time, you can delay when you open your phone in the morning, which I'm trying to do, by the way. I'm trying to get out of bed for a little while before I start scrolling my phone.
Can I tell you, it's off topic, but I took an Amy Wilson tip. I just deleted all the social media apps off of my phone and I am loving it. And the other day someone sent me a funny thing from TikTok, which I wanted to see because I was I'm sure it'll make me laugh. I clicked it. It was you don't have TikTok on your phone. I downloaded it. I looked at it and then I deleted it.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm getting out because I do think I was just on vacation in this beautiful place. We were at this lake and it's just gorgeous. And we're just sipping cocktails with people I love, sitting around staring at a beautiful lake. And I do find myself scrolling on my phone. And I got to check in because what if something's going wrong in my absence?
What if it's somebody's birthday, right? Somebody's Facebook birthday.
Spoiler alert. It's more I have to keep the world going with my mind. I could see it so clearly at the lake. I am literally looking away from this gorgeous vista to click on my phone. And this is a bit of a spoiler alert for later, but I also find myself, for a variety of reasons, posting less stuff about my kids, mostly because they're older. But we're at this very picturesque place and we get these amazing photos at this, them diving off this huge dock and it's gorgeous looking. And I always post photos of it. And I got a beautiful picture of them at sunset, the kids, all the backs of the kids. And I find myself I'm just going to send this to my family instead of posting it publicly. Like, I find in myself a very strong psychological need to step back. All this to say, and I do think this is somewhat outcome, I do think this is very circular. The more you engage with the content, the more you feel the competition, the more you post and try to look like you're having the best time. And that one way to get out of it is to step back.
It's so interesting. My kids just spend time with some of their cousins, and you can see it so easily in other people, right? From an anthropological point of view, I can see it in adolescents. Adolescents that are my kids' same ages come to visit, and the games the boys want to play, the sports they follow, the kind of t-shirts the girls want to wear, or the Stanley Cups they walk in with, or whatever. It's just completely different. It's not better or worse. It's just completely different sets of things than my kids who live 100 miles away are invested in and think about and talk about and want to wear. It's just different. And yet for each of them, it's terribly important, right? That you know about these cool kind of socks you have to wear. And yet when you see them together, it's like, you guys are the same age, and yet what seems important to you is different. And anyway, just looking at that from the outside made me realize that the things that you think you need to keep up on and know about are indeed voluntary, even when they don't feel that way to you as a parent. They are.
And I do think that this stuff is, social signaling is obviously culturally significant, right? Like, every culture has means of social signaling. Currently, in many middle and high schools, women and girls social signal to each other their social status by how many Stanley Cups they own. That's what's going on right now.
Or apparently little things hanging from them. From my Instagram feed, I'm learning that I'm supposed to have a Stanley Cup with also like little things you can dangle from the handle. Have you seen those? Yeah.
Sure. We had them back. Do you remember the pom-poms that people had hanging off their purse, like a mink pom-pom that you would put on your purse? It was like 7 years ago. I was too old for it, thank God. But like, yeah, there's always been. But I mean, I think that sometimes we all like to think like, how foolish of these people. Everyone participates in this kind of social
Sure, that's what I mean. It's easier to see other people doing it, right?
Of course, like everybody participates in some level of social signaling. And so there's nothing inherently wrong with it, but it is good to sort of be like, why am I doing this? It's again, just taking inventory of what are you social signaling. So let's talk about the sexist and terrible word that might be useful for our conversation, mompetition.
Right. Well, I always have the same conversation about this with you, which is, mompetition that is being imposed upon us. Like, we are in the Hunger Games of parenthood, and we're told to be, and then we're mocked for being in it. You told me to be here in this Thunderdome, and here I am, and now I'm dumb for thinking there's a Thunderdome.
For sure. Acknowledged, and yet as we try to have a conversation about this, we're going to just accept some of this premise of like, is it bad for moms to be in competition with each other? Is it natural? And are there ways in which maybe sometimes it helps us? Mompetition, I'm just going to call it competition because mompetition is obnoxious. So either child facing, my child is better than yours. My child is taller than yours. My child is faster than yours.
My kid is done taking the SAT already. My kid went to travel camp.
Right. And they got amazing score and they're going to this college, or my toddler eats fish, or, there's 800 billion versions of this, right? And then there's competition between moms on the level of who's the better mom. I get up in the morning and make hand-pressed juice for my kids. I make my kids' own baby food. I don't ever serve them anything non-organic. Those kind of competitions. Here is the Urban Dictionary definition of mompetition. The one-up rivalry that moms play, making their child seem better, smarter, and or more advanced than yours. It may involve two or more moms and any number of children, even full grown. So this is only defining it as the child competition, but I think the competition between the moms is inherent in it.
I have a thought about this. I have a little bit of a pushback on this. I know that's usually your side of things, but I'm going to push back on this idea. My pushback on this is just that this is what moms do. They say this stuff to make each other be one up on each other. I don't think that's really where the mom who says, oh, Johnny made travel soccer camp is necessarily coming from. The way it makes you feel is that you you are being one-upped. And so it's like, she's trying to make me feel small. No, she's proud of her kid. But we perceive it as like these two moms are at each other trying to wound each other. No, it's that you perceive another mother's kid's success as somehow meaning that you're less than and have some competition to engage in.
Amy, I have a pushback to your pushback, and I'm going to push that pushback after this break.
Hellions, it's time for some spring cleaning, and I don't just mean the coat closets. Doing your financial spring cleaning can actually be super easy when you let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. One dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more logins scattered everywhere, just accounts, investments, property, and more, all in one place. Get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code FRESH. Monarch allows you to look not only at what you've already spent, but also to plan for the future. With Monarch, you can set savings goals, plan for big purchases, and notice spending trends before they become a problem. I can generate cash flow reports that show me what we spent this quarter, this month, what we're probably going to spend next month, and feel prepared, organized, and knowing how to plan for the future. No more surprises and a lot more clarity. Try Monarch. Use code FRESH at monarch.com to get your first year half off at just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FRESH. All my kids learned to swim when they were little. It was super important to me that they be confident and safe in the water. There was only one problem with that: taking them to swim lessons. I mean, the pools were freezing. There were always cranky adults doing laps right there. And it was definitely not, for any of us, what you would call fun.
Amy, heard. But now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish takes a really thoughtful approach to swim lessons, combining research-based teaching with a warm, kid-friendly environment that actually helps kids thrive in the water.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy waiting areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
Goldfish uses an approach called the science of swim play, which combines guided play with proven teaching techniques to help kids learn to swim, build water safety skills, and gain confidence, all at their own pace. Lessons are designed to meet kids exactly where they're at.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code FREE. My favorite skincare products actually feel more like self-care, like they're so nice to put on and they smell so good that I'm actually happy when I get to that part of my day. And I swear that is how I feel about Osea's anti-aging body balm.
Amy, you are usually the lotions and potions queen on this podcast, but I have to say, hard agree.
Osea's anti-aging body balm is a liquid silk body balm that combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving skin smoother and firmer.
This body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel.
So we've gotten to use this product for a couple of months now, and I swear I have really noticed firmer and smoother skin, like on the back of my hands. It's like getting a mini spa treatment from head to toe.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com. I agree with you that a lot of this person is posting this directly to make me feel bad about my own kids. That's on your side of the fence, that we perceive a lot of other people's pride in their kids and excitement about what their kids are doing as an attack on us, and that, oh, I see this and it's all about me. And this is my favorite phrase: you would be so much more relaxed if you realized how rarely anyone else ever thinks of you. Like, take yourself out of the equation. That, like, our ability to perceive the world as directed at us is so deeply ingrained and so constantly misguided. 100% agree. But I do think there's a world in which we as you say, have been invited into a Thunderdome in which part of our parenting duty is to prove constantly how well we're doing it. And that with social media and that it's all sort of a big circle, that like we are kind of oddly in a competition that we didn't sign up for, but we do find ourselves engaged on it on some level. Speaking for myself, I do feel that way. I do feel that in conversations sometimes, you know, when a group of moms gets together and the conversation turns to which AP classes are your kids taking and how are they doing? And, oh, are they going to get a perfect score? And I have a kid who's not taking any AP classes and is still struggling with like some of the more basic material. I definitely do feel a feeling. It makes me feel really bad. And yes, it is completely their, and I don't even think necessarily they're sitting around. There is both sides to it. Like to some degree, they are reassuring themselves out loud verbally, I'm doing a great job and my kid is doing okay. And sometimes they're just talking about things and figuring it out. But I do think that there is a fundamental problem where we start to feel competitive, as is our nature, with, it doesn't have to be another parent. It doesn't have to be a rival. It can just be like everyone's doing it better than me. Everyone's kids are going to college and my kid still isn't reading at grade level.
What I'm trying to say is that a mom who goes on Facebook and says like, Chelsea got the lead in the school play, I'm so excited, and your kid didn't get the lead in the school play, and you're like, meow, 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 you know, like she's one-upping me. No, she's not. Like that's a mom that is maybe living through her kid a little bit excessively on that day and really excited about that. But I think moms, we don't get enough accolades. We don't get enough recognition. And so we go on Facebook and Instagram looking for it, putting up our kid holding up the trophy so that people will tell us we're good parents, not to make other parents feel bad. I don't like the structure. Like this is what moms set out to do, tear each other down. Like, no, we don't. We all set out for a little bit of recognition for ourselves reflected through our kids when our kids do something well, because we get so little of it. But then when you're in the receiving end of it, then you are. I mean, me too. Like, well, my kid didn't get, who is she to brag about Chelsea getting the lead again this year when it wasn't her turn anymore? You see what I'm saying? It's you receiving it that we need to talk about.
You're receiving it in that way, but there is, I think, a fundamental issue that I struggle with, and I know other moms that I know struggle with, which is I have to make my kid fit the mold that these other parents who seem to have successful children fit. And that is a bad place to parent from.
That's not the intent of the person posting it, but you certainly feel that. Well, like it's understandable that both of those things are true. I guess it is. And so you're in this, you're feeling the competition when your kid isn't keeping up with the kids who are going to AP classes or whatever.
For sure. And I do think I 100% hear your point that there's nothing wrong with posting your kid's achievement on Facebook. But I also do think there is some fundamental, I mean, you read about this with the college search and like applying to preschools in New York City. There is some fundamental competition that is built into this that I think is not fundamentally healthy. That the points where you're like, everyone else is doing this better than me and everyone else is on this crazy track. I also do think some people have a little bit of a tendency to be like, every day is a post about how my kid is doing everything amazingly and whatever they're fulfilling for themselves, they need, I'm sure. But there is a place where we can parent from that is based on comparing ourselves with other moms and other kids that is not healthy.
Right. So if you're a competitive parent, we're talking about if you are feeling this competition and it's getting in your way of having a good time raising your kids, then you do need to address it. And it isn't like other people should stop posting stuff that makes you feel bad. It's like, okay, why does this make me feel bad? And how do I engage with it in a way that's more healthy or engage with it less? Maybe that's one of the ways to feel less competitive.
I am quoting from Psychology Today, Eileen Kennedy Moore, PhD. So she knows what she's talking about.
We've quoted her on this show before, definitely, along the way.
I like this point, and I think it goes to what you're saying to some degree. Most parents care deeply about doing a good job raising their kids. We love our children, and we spend a lot of time and effort caring for them. But then we have to wait about 25 years to see how they turn out. So it's tempting to make comparisons with other parents and other children to try to get some reassurance that our kids are on track, whatever this means.
Yeah.
I think that's really well said. She says, to make things even more complicated, the definition of what it means to be a good parent has expanded tremendously. This is the side of the argument that I'm taking. In my grandmother's day, she thought she was doing a good job if her children were reasonably clean. My mother could pat herself on the back if her children were fairly obedient. But nowadays, parents are told that they are responsible for fostering their children's success in a wide range of areas: academic, social, musical, athletic, spiritual, artistic, etc. And I think that this shift is the heart of what I'm talking about, that you're in a race that leads nowhere and maybe not even as a race, that like, well, it seems like all the other kids are doing this fantastic art and oh my gosh, they speak 2 languages and they this and that. And I think sometimes, especially when you have a kid with special needs, where do I even fit on the rubric of these people whose kids seem to be doing 800 different things in 8th grade, and they just came back from this camp where they built a giant robot that saves humanity, whatever, And then it can feel like, as you said, we're being asked as moms to kind of be our children's everything. And it's funny because I do think about like all the like wild and woolly cousins of my family in my generation. And like this one got arrested for streaking and this one, went off for 2 years to bum around somewhere. And I feel like there was a wider range of acceptability among what my cousins were doing. And that there was always like wild children and who did wild stuff. And it was, I don't know, maybe it's just my own mind, but I feel this very tremendous need to have kids who do everything, I don't know, who kind of walk the line, I guess.
So I have 2 kids in college, and looking back at this whole thing, I feel like, yes, we're asking kindergarteners to do 1st grade work. We're asking 10th graders to be worrying about the SATs already. And kids in college, which to me, college was the time of like, talk about kids who were streaking and doing the randomest of stuff. Like college was at least supposed to be, let me figure out who I want to be when I grow up. Let me try some selves on. Let me take a bunch of different classes. And now it's become like, by sophomore year, you have to know what kind of internship you're going to have after junior year. And that we are putting this pressure on our kids, as Jennifer Wallace talked about in her book, Never Enough. And it's hard not to absorb some of that achievement pressure on their behalf. But it's not something we're making up in our heads, I guess is what I'm saying. Society creates this achievement pressure. We want our kids to be happy. And so we feel like they have to be doing what the other 8-year-olds are doing in order to be what the other 25-year-olds are doing. They have to start now. And I don't think we're making up that pressure in our heads. We just have to get really creative about how do we resist it.
Absolutely. And I think that, as always, the first step of resisting it is to recognize what it is. And it does feel good when your kids, we all see our children as extensions of ourselves on some level. Now you have like the great Santini coach people who do it way too much. But I think everybody feels proud. I have a kid who's just taken up a hobby and he's just oddly really good at it. And he plays guitar. It's not some big secret activity.
I was imagining what it was. Origami.
He'll pull out a guitar and he's really pretty good. Like he just sits and plays it all day and people are like, wow, your kid's amazing at guitar. And I'm like, oh, it makes me feel good. Like it gives me a warm feeling to be like, that's my kid and he's really good at guitar. What did I have to do with him learning guitar? Literally nothing. Like he found his dad's old guitar. He started plunking at it. I do drive him to lessons now once a week. But I mean, I really don't have anything to do with his guitar ability. I'm super non-musical myself. But of course, like as he stands up and plays guitar and people are like, wow, he's so good, I feel amazing. And I'm sure that if someone was sitting there and their kid had been taking guitar lessons for 2 years and wasn't as good, they'd be like, they wouldn't feel as good. You know, it's very natural to our human species to have these emotions. It's just a question of the feeling that we have in ourselves that if I don't give everything to my kid and I see Amy giving everything to her kid, then I'm failing and Amy's winning somehow. That is a story that you have to be very careful of.
That's a slightly different version of this, right? Like say like I had a kid who was really good at guitar. I do not, but just say I had a kid who was really good at guitar, same age as you.
No, my kid is good at guitar, Amy. My kid. It's my kid, okay? Not your kid, my kid.
Nobody else. But
nobody else is good at guitar.
But like we live in New York City. So I'm like, well, my kid is actually studying with somebody who plays in the Broadway pit orchestra of The Lion King. I'm making all of this up, you guys.
My kid is actually studying with someone who plays in the Broadway pit of Wicked.
Oh, really?
For real?
Well, there you go. All right. So right now. So somebody in Indiana is like, okay, well, I don't have access to Broadway pit professional level musicians to teach my kid. Mine is just like a teenager who's doing it for $5 an hour. So I'm not giving my also talented at the guitar kid everything that they deserve, right? And then now I'm feeling this mompetition, right? That your kid's going to all-state band because they go to a better school band-wise than my kid goes to. That's stressful too. It's a little bit different than like, why isn't my kid playing the guitar yet? It's that like my kid has this ability also. I'm not running it out in the same... We don't have the same access to whatever ice time as your kid does. So he's a better skater. And oh no, and now, you know, that it is hard not to get sucked into that. I guess I'm just like, I'm coming down on the side of like, I understand that you're feeling competitive and you're feeling stressed. You're not a bad person for feeling that way.
You're 100% this is a morally neutral conversation about why we do it, because there's nothing wrong with feeling that competition. But I do think that feeling that competition can lead to bad outcomes for us. And that's why fundamentally we're having the conversation.
Right.
And as always, in part 3, we're going to talk about some solutions for this problem. We'll be back. Amy, when I'm having a good hair day, it usually makes my whole day better. And that's why on every day, I'm taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand. And it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested.
Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed, with automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING.
Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. And now, things moms say versus things moms do.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast.
Things moms say.
You know what we love to do on a rainy day? Bake homemade scones and then cuddle up in a floor fort and read Swiss Family Robinson aloud. That's a family.
Moms in real life.
Are you kidding? Who spilled chocolate milk all over the floor? I haven't even finished setting up the pillows. Yes, I know this book is boring. You know what? Fine, forget it. Take these pillows and hit each other with them in the garage.
Things moms say.
My children love to cook. Last night, my 5-year-old made us a pesto lasagna with kale. Oh, it was divine.
Moms in real life.
No, it's not your turn yet. It's not your turn yet. Mommy's just finishing the last layer. Okay, all right, come over and I will let you sprinkle the cheese on the top. No, not like that. Over here. No, too much. Okay, I'm just going to scrape that off because you added too much, even though I asked you not to. And into the oven. Things moms say.
Camp? Oh, no, we don't do camp. I wouldn't want to miss one of the 18 summers I get with my precious ones. We do something we call mommy camp, and I do enriching activities with them all summer long.
Moms in real life.
I spent $2,000 on that trampoline. Go jump on it.
And if you can keep your sister occupied out there for 25 minutes, I'll give you each a popsicle. Things moms say.
Children's ears are like a delicate pitcher. You must fill them carefully with words of love and wisdom.
Moms in real life.
Get your shoes on or I'm putting a children for sale sign on the front lawn. We're late.
This has been Things Moms Say versus Moms in Real Life.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast. So keeping in mind that it's a Thunderdome, we're all stuck here, everybody has good intentions, I think we should talk about the downsides of what feeling competitive with other moms does for us.
Okay. Yes.
The problem with this parenting from this place, let's call it, leads to anxiety, obviously. Like you're constantly thinking, I should be reading to them. I don't do enough. You're getting in bed every night being like, I didn't get closer to the imaginary finish line that I've created in my brain off of looking at things I think other moms are doing. I imagine that the Joneses next door are, and sometimes they are. Like, I definitely know people who I get together and my kids are like watching Skibbity Toilet videos and cracking up, and their 3 kids are like reading advanced novels on the couch and like making Kant puns with each other. And I'm just like, and yes, I'm talking about my children's cousins, but like, that's not who my kids are. They're never going to be those people. And what I need to do in that situation is engage my sense of moral neutrality about Skibbity Toilet and reading Kant. That like some kids do one and some kids do the other. And there's nothing, I mean, could you argue that reading Kant is better than watching Skibbity Toilet videos? I suppose you could. And I guess you would. But I mean, it's the amount of control that I want to try to exercise in that situation that I think is not useful.
It's the feeling bad about yourself. Yeah. It's the despair part of the compare and despair. That's not going to help you parent more effectively.
The other thing is that it becomes a question of controlling outcomes, which is always a bad place to be. That you can control your own behavior, but you cannot control the outcome of a situation. And putting, as you say, that thin piece of paper between those two things, that I can, as a person who played professional soccer, that you can know this is not a story about me because I've never played professional anything and I've never really played any sort of physical game without injuring myself. I played professional soccer. I can put in my child's way soccer lessons. I can share my love of soccer through showing them the games I played in. I can go out every afternoon and ask them to play with me, but I cannot, through my actions, ensure that my child becomes a professional soccer player. It is not possible.
Well, you know, I just spent some time with a mom who did put like her kids' golf careers before all else, right? And so you listen to that and they moved for her children's golf careers and they both became, you know, college professional golf players.
But that's moving for your kids' golf is a behavior. It's not an outcome.
Oh, that's true. It's a behavior, not an outcome. I'm thinking, listening to this, like you can do everything you can and that's still not the outcome. She could control that they became really good golf players and then where it goes from there is up to you, but it's not. And was there 1/2% of me listening to her like, God, should my kids play golf? No, they should not. And they don't.
Right.
But it's so natural to be like, oh, but she really did it. But you're right. Even so, somebody could, break an ankle. Or not be good at golf or hate you.
Or not be good at golf. You got to read Andre Agassi, the book Open. If you haven't read it and you're looking for a page-turner book, Andre Agassi's memoir, Open. He had a father who I believe was Iranian, and he saw a tennis game. He had 4 children, and he's like, I'm going to make my kids professional tennis players. And he retrofitted a ball machine so it would shoot tennis balls at them like 150 miles an hour, something crazy. And he made them get up at 7 a.m. just by barking at them, and made them in the Las Vegas heat play tennis for 15 hours a day, every day, 4 kids. One of them is Andre Agassi. It worked with him. 3 of them played high-level competitive tennis and then didn't make it, burnt out, whatever. And 4 of them hate his guts. So it's the question of you cannot control outcomes. And the fact that Andre Agassi became Andre Agassi is still a freakish outcome in that scenario. You know, you just cannot control outcomes, and you should never try. And then your relationship, you never want your relationship with your child. And this is something natural to us. Again, it's understandable. Again, it's going to be part of the story on some fundamental level. But you need to achieve X to prove that I was good at my job. That you need to get into a good college to prove that I was a good mother is not a good story for you to be telling yourself and your kids. And this is going to play out in a million ways, right? You need to be a beauty pageant looking, beautiful, doll looking child who I can take to church on Sundays. You may have a kid who's really, that's not their look, you know? And so anytime you are trying to have your child achieve something to prove something to yourself or other people, I think you're probably in the wrong place. Having been in that place a million times myself.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, you would never, most people would never say to their kid, you need to do this in order for people to understand that I'm a good mother. Like, you wouldn't say that out loud, but it's that it's all the ways that creeps in, right? Like, you need to get into this school, you need to be in the top row at the National Honor Society, whatever, in order for people to understand that I am. It's much more implicit, and it's still pervasive.
Or it's explicit. Like, have I hissed at my children before going to meet their grandparents in the South? Like, you will behave for this half an hour, and if you act like animals, I will never let you have the screen again. Like, yes, because I want those people who have different customs than my own to think that I am a good Southern mother, which I'm not, you know? So, like, it does, I think this creeps into so many aspects of our life. Like, I want this through you for myself, and I'm looking at me. So I think that's very useful. Here are some solutions from Eileen Kennedy Moore from Psychology Today's article, How to Resist Competitive Parenting. I like this one. Go to your high school reunion. She says, like, and this is a metaphor. Think about, and there are a million examples of this. I just have a friend who was kind of featured in a book about this. People who went to kind of mid-level high schools and mid-level colleges who are now extremely successful people and writers and journalists and authors and doing all sorts of extraordinary stuff. And sometimes the person who was the big cheese at high school or college went on a different path. It's not to go and, what do we call it? Mean-spirited Googling. That's what my friend calls it. Like, it's not just to look up your ex and be like, yay, he's ugly and old, yay. But I do think, as you think about like the people you were most competitive with in high school or college or in other phases of your career, and I'm telling you, this is advice you can only get from people our age. The competitions that I was desperately in my youth are not valuable to me anymore. And it is good to remember that, like, whatever your laser hot focus is in junior year of high school, it will not define your life for most people. And it's worth stepping back and taking a 30,000 foot view of.
This is a good one. Allow your child to experience healthy struggles. I mean, we talk about this, but when it comes to, mom competition, that feeling, that arrow of shame you get when the mom posts that Chelsea got the lead in the school play, and you're like, oh, my kid's a senior and she got like second townsperson and Chelsea got the lead again. Chelsea's mom is not out to make you feel small. You do feel small. And so much of it is like, I don't want my kid to suffer. I don't want my kid to cry that they're a senior and they still didn't get a good part. And yet that's a healthy struggle. That's a healthy disappointment. That's something you aren't supposed to fix or minimize. Just hold.
No, absolutely. And we just talked on our helping and helicoptering. Again, these are things that happen for a reason. They don't happen because you're a dummy and you're a bad parent and you're an idiot. They happen because you feel anxiety. You want to get obstacles out of your kids' way so they can succeed because you perceive that other people are succeeding. And so you get drawn into stuff. It's just something to check on. I like this one a lot. Focus on building skills. This is something, I'm a scout mom. I like this a lot in scouting, that a lot of the merit badges and things that you have to earn, it's competitions against yourself. So my kid is working on a physical fitness one right now. And it's like, okay, how fast can you run a mile? How many blanks can you do in this amount of time? And you do it, and then you work for 6 months, and then you record your scores after 6 months. And it's just like, how far can I come in this amount of time? Not how good am I as compared to someone else? And I really like that. And I think for moms of kids with special needs who have physical, any kind of limitation or difference, that staying in the space of your own kids' skills is very, very useful for you. I like it as a back to one that I do all the time. And it's something that I have to work with my kids. Like, I have kids who are very physically strong and kids who aren't. And so that becomes a constant issue of like, you can't even do this and I can do that. Like, people have different skills. People have different abilities. And it can sound a little tweet, but it actually is really important to say, like, where you've come is important to me from where you were, not how I compare you to your sibling or the kid down the street.
Right. Say that out loud for your kid and then say that inside your head for yourself.
That is it. You've come a long way with your reading. I'm really impressed, versus, oh, good. Then you're reading, like getting out of the story of how you're reading compared. And then the most important point, her final point, trust your child. And I think that I work with a arts organization, and the motto of the organization is trust the process. And it is something that, we say it constantly, like, but we didn't get a costume and it's lost and the shirt is missing. And how are we going to get it in time for the play? We're going to trust the process. We're going to figure it out. The ability to trust the process of making a human child an adult is kind of our most important work, I think. Okay, I have kids who were reading at a 6th grade level in 3rd grade, and I have kids who were reading at a kindergarten level in 3rd grade. And they all read now, and it's worked out okay. And I probably have kids who will never be strong as their siblings or other kids at certain things, and they'll be stronger at certain things. And it is really hard, and a special shout out to you moms whose kids feel way off the bell curve, that it feels really hard to say, I'm watching a million kids on Facebook, winning awards at high schools and going to colleges or doing fancy camps or just like running track. And my kid can't do any of those things. And I feel like I don't belong here. Your own child's journey is so worthwhile and important. And getting them from step A to step B is amazing, even if other kids feel like they're at step Z.
And that despairing that you feel like, oh, we're getting ready for move-in day. Like, well, my kid is not going away to college because that's not something that's just going to happen for this kid. And I'm trusting the process and we're headed in a different way. And you do feel that compare and despair. And you do feel that like they're posting those pictures of them at Target shopping for twin XL sheets to make the rest of us feel bad. Like it's completely natural to feel that despair, that pressure. But I think there's things we can do to kind of work on it.
Yeah, then I think it's time to put Amy's piece of paper between that and where you are. And of course, listen, I watch people flying around in helicopters and yachts, and I'm like, must be nice. Like, I'm not of course, I want things that other people have. But it's the difference between looking at it and being like, that seems nice, and thinking where we are is valuable. And finding those differences for yourself, I think, is crucial.
Yeah, well said.
We solved it, people. No more comparing, never despairing. We are still comparing our reviews to other podcast people. Get us, please, go rate and review the podcast wherever you listen. Get us over that 1,000 review mark. And again, we won't float away on a cloud. We'll just float and come back and do the podcast again.
We'll just keep doing. We're going to compare and despair. We'll stop comparing and despairing. We'll just be doing the podcast then.
Perfectly said, Amy. Kind of, I think. I don't know. We kind of lost the plot on this one a little bit, but it was our shout out at the end. Friends, Hellions, and others, we'll talk to you next time.
So long.